Greetings and welcome to Hexed Encountered. I'm Joe. In this video, we'll be doing some gameplay from the game Berlin, Fall of the Reich, 1945. This is Solitaire Area Movement Series, Volume 3. It follows Stalingrad, Advance to the Volga, and Manila, Streets of Fire, I think, is the subtitle of that one. But as you can guess, these are big urban fights. It is a solitaire system that was created by Michael Rinella, who is also the designer of all the games in the series, and published by his company Take Aim Designs through Revolution Games. They have a little partnership going there. So what you're looking at right now is the board pre-set up. Now I have set up the Soviet forces, and they are located up here in the north. Okay, so here's Berlin. That's the northern outskirts, and you've got the part of Zhukov's forces up here. The other part of Zhukov's forces are here to the east. And then we have Konev's forces down here at the south. So we've got kind of a three-sided thing here with Berlin kind of in the pincers, so to speak. Stalin had basically decided to pit his two of his best commanders, arguably the two best commanders he had available to take this, to take Berlin and end the war. In the middle, obviously, we have Berlin, and then you have these areas, and they are typed by shape and color. So you see these gray squares, and then you have some triangles with green, and there are some circles here with brown, one here, and one here, and there's another one somewhere and I'm not seeing at the moment. You've got these diamonds here or not diamonds, pentagons here in the center. And you can see labeled as the Reichstag and the Chancellery. That's obviously the core of the government sector of Berlin. And these are citadels. And these are the counters that go in there. Now, when they're on this side where you can just see what the type is, that's the unrevealed side. So you're not going to know what these are. And what we do is you kind of draw them out of a cup or do some other kind of random draw. And I'm not going to draw them out of a cup. I'm going to do my own random draw. And I'm going to explain that in a moment. But you have Citadel, you have Suburban, which is the brown. I've kind of put them on the areas they go with in most cases. The heavy urban actually is these black guys up here. The black pentagons, like the Landwehr Canal. Kreuzberg, Friedrichshain, etc. Mitte up here, and the forested ones. So you have Plenterwald there, and down here we have light urban. So like the botanical garden here, that's light urban. They're the squares with the gray. And the plus here is the defensive bonus the unit in there will get when we do combat, because the Soviets, obviously, their goal is to take the city. It's an area movement game. So you're going to move into an area and contest it, and there'll be combat, and there are various things that can happen with the combat, and then it gets resolved, and we can find out who won, or if we have a stalemate, which causes what they call bloody streets. We have a marker for that, which means combat will continue in an ensuing turn. The turn track is up here. The game runs from April 24th through May 2nd, so 9 days, 9 turns, covering the historical time frame of the battle itself, of course. You have a morale track for the Germans, a Stalin approval track for the Soviets, which is somewhat similar to the morale check. You don't want to get on Stalin's bad side. That was always a bad idea. So you want to make sure that remains relatively high. It makes things a little easier on you. You also have supply track here, and you'll use supply to buy support units, which are down in this area here. And that is basically air support and artillery support. Some of the games, I believe, had like armor and other things that you could have in support. If I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've played Manila, which was the second game. So what I'm going to do in terms of setup, right? So like I said, you have to kind of do these randomly. So I'm going to kind of spread these out so that I can't see what they are. Because if you draw it out of a cup, what ends up what potentially ends up happening is you could see what you're pulling out, and I don't want to have any kind of bad or I shouldn't say bad, pre-information about what these defenders are going to actually be. So I'm just kind of moving them around. I don't know. I punched all this out and set it up yesterday, so I have no real memory of anything, and I wasn't really trying to look at these anyway. And then you just place them in the areas that they go in, like so. And am I missing any greens? Yes, up here, got Tegel, Tegel-Assay, and I think we have 2 left over. So you always have a couple left over so that you can't memorize the counter mix and kind of, pull a Rain Man and be counting cards, so to speak, where you can tell what's coming up and use that to your advantage. I don't want the pre-knowledge anyway, right? You want a good challenging game. You don't want to know in advance and have that kind of color your decisions. So I'm going to do the rest of it. I just showed you kind of how I'm doing it, and it's real straightforward. You randomly pull them out and you put them in the matching terrain. That's it. And then as we play, we'll reveal them and find out what's actually hiding in that area that's going to try to stop our Soviet advance. So I'll be back in a moment with this all fully laid out. Okay, we're all set up and ready to go. So our first step here, I have the sequence of play kind of tucked under here. It's actually on the board as well. You've got your random event, phase first, then supply, combat, and end phase. Very straightforward. Okay, so the random event phase involves rolling 3 dice. So I'm going to take 3 red dice of the 4. You get 4 red and 4 black. So I've got my 3 right here. I'm going to roll these guys, and you add them together, and we got a 13, and there is a chart on our player aid. This one, right? So we find 13, 14. Zhukov pause 2. Units labeled with setup locations A and B may move but may not attack. So A and B are here and here. One thing I did not mention during setup, you can see this is a circle with a brown. It's a suburban area. They get defenders and they're revealed. So this one, for example, in A is ambush, and now I cannot attack them. And here is Tiger. And then around the rest of the area, this one is unrevealed because there's no Soviet unit in there. And then we have here Verbal Wind, okay, Tiger, Verbal Wind, and then this one's not revealed, and these are not revealed. And up here we have Volkssturm, Panther, Hetzer, okay. And then the rest of these all inside are all unrevealed, of course. So the Zhukov pause, they cannot attack. If this random event was in effect the previous turn, treat as poor weather instead. Treat as no result on turns 1 and 9. So that is probably the case because we have a unit in here. We have German defenders here, and we need to attack them to get them out of here. So once we've done that, we then roll for supply. And rolling for supply, you roll all 4 of your D6, right? And that number will give you an amount of supply points that we track on this track right here. And we get not a great roll. We got 6. A 6 and a 1, that's 7, plus 3 is 10, plus 2 more is 12. So we put our 10 marker on 1 and our 1 marker on 2. 12 supply is not a lot, right? So each of our supply, or support rather, costs 2 each. So we could buy 6, and anything, you don't have to spend it all. You can save it and use it next turn as a starting point. So if I used, say, 10, we'd still have 2, and then next turn, we would have that 2, and then we would just add to it with our second supply roll. Okay, so air support costs 2 and artillery costs 2. You may wonder what the difference is between air support and artillery support. Air support will remove 1 of the German dice from their roll, and artillery support will give you 2 additional attack points. Here in this corner, we have an attack defense value track, with an attack value with a Soviet star on it and a German cross for the defense value. So we're going to calculate what we've got, and then we will be able to determine how the you roll dice, and it's a dice off basically, and whoever has the most points wins the battle. There are different levels of victory and defeat, and of course there is the possibility of having a stalemate. So one thing I messed up is I didn't put these in the used support area, because you buy them out of there basically. So I'm just going to move all of these real quick, and so I will pause a moment to do that. Stacking limit for Soviet units is 4, but that doesn't count in zones. And the areas around the map, not these, are all zones. So you can see here we have 6, and here we have, 11 or something, 3, 5, 7, 9, 12. All right, so now that we've determined our supply, let's buy some support, and we will have to assign those to various areas for our attacks. So we've got 3 contested areas up here, 2 here, and 3 here. So that's a total of what? 1, 2, 3, 6, 8. We've got 8 areas that we are already contesting, and we haven't even actually breached Berlin itself yet. So I'm going to buy both air supports. That costs 4, and you just put them in your available box here. And then I'll spend the other 8 buying 4 artillery supports here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I don't have to assign them yet. I'm just purchasing them and putting them in the available box. That makes our supply 0. So we just put that in the 0 box. And now we're ready to start doing some combat. So I'm going to start here. Now the rules say that units that are participating in the combat have to be in the active area. That makes sense. Any units that are in the area and not involved can move, I think. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to actually move some of these out of here, especially in this one, because all of these units probably, hopefully, should be enough to take care of these. So let's just go through the combat sequence here, right up here first. So you need a lead unit, and the unit with the lead unit is the one that commits its entire combat power, essentially. We'll get into the details in a moment, but this one's a 7. So the 7-4, just to make this extra clear, you move this up so you can see it a little better. So the 7 is their combat factor or attack value, or I think it's attack value, right? Then 4 is their movement factor. Now it does cost movement points to move from area to area, dependent upon what's in the area and what type it is. Well, before we get into that, let's talk about this. This is the German defense for this sector, or zone in this case. And it's an ambush, and it has a value of 7. Now the terrain itself gives a 1. And so these are the German defense strategy charts. So ambush, you place the lead attacking unit in the out of action box after combat resolution. So you have to consider this when you're doing your attack, since we already know what it is. Ignore if the combat result was a repulse or a stalemate. All right. So if you win, your lead unit is going to go into the out of action box, and would then, which is up here, and would then need to be brought back, basically, at a cost of supply points. So taking that into account, we're going to use one of our 5s, because we have 2 5s, a 7, and 2 3s. So I'm going to take a 7 and the 2 3s, and we're going to move them to Marzahn, which is here. And then the other 3 units here will attack this unit here. So we have a 5, that'll be our lead unit. Then we're going to add 1 for this and 1 for that. That's a 7. And they get a 1. And I'm going to also use one of my air support and one of my artillery support. So the air support will remove a die, and the artillery support will give them 2. So you get the attack value equals the sum of the attack factor of any one attacking unit, which is the lead attacking unit. That's a 5. We have 5 there. Then we get +1 for each additional attacking unit, which there are 2. So that gives us a total of 7. Then +2 for each artillery support, which is 2 more. That gives us 9. And a combined arms bonus if attacked by at least 1 infantry and 1 armor unit is supported by at least 1 artillery support. So we do have an armor and 2 infantry and an artillery. So we get that +1 as well, which gives us an 8. No, not an 8. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 with this. And then they're going to lose one of their dice for the air support. Okay, and the defense value is the defense factor of the German unit. In this case, that is a 7 +1 for being suburban, which we see right here on the symbol. And if it's German armor, which is not the case here, German morale is 19 or less. German morale right now is 50, so we don't have that. And -1d6 for Soviet air support marker in the area, which we do have. So it's a dice off, basically. So it gives us these two markers I mentioned earlier. So our attack value is a 10. Their defense value is an 8. So we already have a 2-point advantage. You're going to roll 2d6 for each side. So I'm going to take 2 red, 2 black. I'm going to roll them together. You don't have to do it this way, I don't think. I guess you do, maybe. It doesn't say one way or the other as I drop one of the dice. All right. Let's just roll these guys. All right, we got a 7, they got a 5, so we're going to win. Okay, so we actually remove one of their dice, though, for the air support. So we'll just take 1 point away. Because I think I was just supposed to roll 1, and I actually rolled 2, which was an accident. You can see that's a 4, and a 4, and a 3 for me, 7. So that gives us a total of 17. They have a total of 12. So we won by 5. If we had won by more than 7, we would have had an overrun opportunity, but we don't. We just won. So we get a success. We have to remove our lead unit, which was this one. So I'm going to put him in the out of action. And these guys will be turned over to their spent side as they are completed. These guys will go back up here to the used support units. And this guy is eliminated. Now the Soviets control this area. Okay, so now we would move on to our next combat. Now we have to consider the effect on German morale of having lost this area. And they give us a chart here that handles both Stalin approval and German morale. So we need to look at both. But I don't believe any of these matter yet. So down here you have various things. The one we're interested in here is this one. -1 for each forest and light urban area that becomes Soviet controlled. So that's 1, because this one is a forest area, and it is now, actually, I'm sorry, that's not forest, that's suburban. So they didn't lose any morale for that. Yeah, brown is suburban. Green is forest, which is these guys right here. So once we take one of these, they will lose 1 morale point. Or light urban, which is, we're going to do this attack, but I'm not going to do it yet. I'm going to do this one next because I want to move some of this in here as well. Now this one, defender, is a tiger, also a 7. Now the value there varies. Some of them will be relatively low, and some of them can be as many as, I think, 9, if not more. So here, tiger, add +2 to the German defense value this action round only. So the first time you encounter it, basically, they get a +2. So they're going to have a defense value of 9 + 1 is 10. So I'm just going to mark that right now. And we'll figure out what we're going to do on the attack side. So we're not going to lose our lead unit. So we're just going to we'll use one of these 3 7s that we have. And we have to keep some armor as well so that we can get our bonus. We also have an 8 here. But I'm not going to use this as the lead one because this is one of my more powerful tank units. So we're going to send this 8 along with one of these 7s to Oberspray right here. And we'll send the 7 and this 6 armor to Karlshorst as well. And we'll use this 7, and we'll send a 3 here, a 3 here. That would be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then here we would have 8 plus 2 is 10, and we'd have 7 plus 2 is 9. Let's move this guy in there too. So now we have a 7 will be our lead unit, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So our attack strength starts at an 11. And their defense strength, as I just mentioned, is a 10, because they get the 7 plus the 1 plus 2 for being a tiger. So that gives them 10. And I will apply 1 artillery support. So I can get the combat bonus, so we get 2 for the artillery and then 1 more for the combined arms. Gives us 14. So we should win this one, I hope. They do get to roll both their dice this time because we did not use our other air support. And we rolled an 11 and they rolled a 9. So with the 11, I go to 25, you go to 19. So that is a difference of 6. And we again have a victory, but not a overrun. This is eliminated. Flip these over to spent. So really, that's where your decision making comes in this system, is you're trying to determine, when you're looking at the attacks you're making, you want to determine the best use of your resources, whether it's your actual units and whether it's the actual support units, and then where are you going to apply your force, right? So we're going to have combat here and here and here, and then also down here in these 3 areas. And we also will, of course, have these 3 areas as well. So we have more combat coming up. Now, just to kind of mix it up a little bit, we'll do this Marzahn attack. So looking at this one, we have a 7 is our lead unit. Then we have a 3 and a 3. That gives us a total of 9, because each of these only count as a 1. So our attack value starts at 9. Their defense value, we flip this over to reveal it, and it's another tiger, and it's a 7. So 7 plus 2 is 9, plus 2 more is an 11. So they are actually ahead of us right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my air support, and that's it, just my air support. So I'm going to lose the combat bonus, combined arms bonus, and I won't get the 2 for the artillery, but I will remove 1 of their dice, leaving them with only 1. So this should be good enough for us to win here. So we will roll and see what we get. We got a 6 and they got a 7. Oh, I did it again. I'm going to re-roll this. Not because it was close, but because I forgot to remove 1 of their dice. Okay, so we got a 6 and they got a 4. So that, my friends, some quick math, we've got a 15 and they've also got a 15. That creates a stalemate. Okay, so no effect on the German units. Attacking units are flipped to spent, and we put this guy goes back over here. These 3 rather are spent. And we put our Bloody Streets marker in here. There will be combat there again next turn. Now they don't get their +2 next turn, so this 7 will now just be a 7. It's not going to be a 9. They lose their bonus for having a tiger there, basically. Now we'll move on here. 7 plus 3 is 10. So our attack value here is going to be a 10 to start. Let's see what they've got. They've got an ambush 9, which is not good for us, because that means this unit is going to get axed. And they start at a 9, plus 2 is 11. So they are again ahead of us. And I'm down to 2 artillery support. So you see where like that low supply roll at the beginning is costing me now. So I'm going to use 1 because I want to get the advantage here of the combined arms and the artillery support bonus, which is going to give me +3 and move me to 13. So again, we're going to roll. They get both their dice this time. And they got an 8 and we got a 6. So again, we're going to have a tie at 19. So we're going to flip these guys over. my lead unit, this guy gets eliminated. This goes away, and this guy gets flipped. This guy stays. And yeah, we get another Bloody Streets. All right. We'll try it again. We're going to use our 8, our tank here. This is risky because if this is an ambush, then we're going to lose our tank. 8, 9, 10 to start. Let's see what we've got here. And it is, oh, this is an easier one. So we got a Volkssturm, which has a value of 5 in this case. The value varies as well. So you could have a tiger that has, like we saw with the ambush. One ambush we saw over here was a 7. This one's a 9. So there is variability in there, and you can see here on this one that it has a 6 on it. Both tigers we've seen so far have been 7s. This one is a 5, and it's Volkssturm, which is up here. The Soviet success during combat resolution becomes an overrun. So there, obviously, the Volkssturm was like, you know, the people's, they were militia basically is what they were. So if we win here, we can overrun, which, you know, that's a good thing for us. So with a 5 and a +2, they have a 7. So I'm not going to apply artillery support. And we're just going to go with our base attack here of a 10. And hope for the best. And we rolled really badly. We got a 3 and they got a 9. So they get 14. Actually, no, they get a 16 and we get a 13. So they beat us, and that is a repulse. So the lead attacking unit is removed from the area. And even if I had used the artillery, that would have given us a bonus of 3. 1, 2, 3, which would have set up another Bloody Streets. But now this tank has to go up here. These guys are flipped to the spent side. And they retreat is required in cases of a failed mandatory attack. So that is the case here. So these guys have to retreat back to Fichtenau maybe. And that is that. Retreat must follow Soviet retreat procedure, which I believe is just going back to where they started from. Yes. Okay. But that could present us with a problem. Although we're in a zone, so there is no overstacking in the zone. So that's good. We don't have to worry about overstacking. All right. So you see how this works. Now, let's just quickly go through the rest of it. I have 1 artillery support left. Let's do this guy right here, which we know is a verbal wind of 6 value. Our lead unit will be a 7. +2 is 9. They have a 6 +1 is 7. I'm, again, not going to use that last artillery support. We got a 10. They got a 5. Our 10 gives us a 19. Their 5 gives them a 12. We won by 7. This is a 6. We get an overrun victory. So an overrun, if the attack is a success and the difference between the AT, or attack value, and defense value, AT-DT, or attack total, defense total, that's what it means. If it's greater than the defense factor of the revealed unit, an overrun has been achieved. The German units are eliminated and removed, which we just did. All attacking units remain fresh and may be activated again. An overrun also cancels the effect of the fanatic German defense strategy. Overruns cannot occur in heavy urban and citadel areas, as well as in zones, so they are not eligible. So we will just turn these over to spent. And we'll move on to this one. This one is a Tiger 5. So that Tiger 5 will get a 7 with his +2 bonus and +1. They'll have an 8 to start. We have an 8, an 8, and a 5. So we'll use one of our 8s as our lead, and that gives us a total of 10. So we have a 2-point lead, and I think we'll stick with that and just go for this here and hope for the best. It's a little tank-on-tank combat in this sector. They got an 8. We got a 6. That is, of course, 14, right? They had 8 and got 8. That gives them 16. We had 10 and got 6. That is also 16. So yes, we get a bloody streets. Flip this over. Bloody streets. Okay. Now we'll do this guy right here. So here we have a whole bunch of units, and I think I'm going to actually move. I'm going to take a 6 and the other 6 and one of these 3s, because this is a 5, and we're going to move these guys up here. This 5 is, again, the verbal Wind, which gives us a... Oh, okay. So, yeah. I forgot to check the effect of that. And any one attacking infantry unit, Soviet player's choice, doesn't have to be the lead unit, is removed from the area prior to combat resolution and placed in the out-of-action box. So I screwed that one up because I didn't look, and I totally forgot. So what do we got here? We have 7, 5, and I think the other one's a 5 too. Yeah. So we'll put one of those out. I won't change the result because I don't remember what I did a moment ago. All right, so we're going to resolve this one now. We've got 8 plus 2 is 10 against 6. So 10 and 6, and let's see, we got a 4, 4, 4 up here. I'm going to use my artillery in this one though. So let's roll this out. We've got a 10 against a 6. And we rolled a 4 and they rolled a 7. Oh, gee. Whew. All right. I don't think they can retreat out of a zone. Or maybe they can. Because we started here. And this is a repulse, I'm pretty sure, because they end up with 13. And we rolled a 4. Oh, so we have a 14. 7 plus 7 is 14. And 10 plus 4 is also 14. So that is a bloody streets, not a repulse. Oh, wait, it was 6, though. It wasn't 7. Because that's a 5. So 6 plus 7 is 13. And 10 plus 4 is 14. So we actually win. So these guys get eliminated, and this gets set to spent. Now we'll do this one. I'm going to use my last artillery support. So we got a 6 plus 2 is 8. Plus 2 more is 10. We don't get the combined arms because we don't have an infantry. So we look here. Oh, boy. Ambush 10. This is rough. So we're going to lose our 6 here after combat resolution. So it's 10 to 10. It's a true dice off here, and we'll see what we get. No, it's not 10 to 10. They get a plus 2, so it's actually 12 to 10. We rolled 12, they rolled 5. So we win. So we have a 22, and they got a 17. So we won by 5. So he's eliminated. This goes up here. And our lead unit gets put in the out of action box. Whoops, wrong one. That would be this guy. So we flip that over. Okay. And so, oh, I did not check it, but you can see here -1 for each forest and light urban area. So they've lost a couple of light urban areas. They lost this. Well, no, they didn't. They didn't lose there or here. So they only have lost 1, which is this one, Kleinmachnow. So they lose 1. So that becomes, oh, that's Stalin approval. Joe, what are you doing? Becomes a 49. Now, I don't think we've gotten anything that would help or hurt us with Stalin approval. Oh, we do. We lose 1 each time we got a repulse. We had 1 repulse so far. So Stalin approval will go to 18. And that's it for now. That's it for now. All right. So we got to make sure that that doesn't get too far down, or we're going to be in trouble here. Okay, so all of this side and this side are done. Let's go to the north. We'll start here and go left to right. They have Volkssturm 4, so we know if they win, it would normally be an overrun, but because we're in a zone, it is not. So we have a 6. I'm not going to move in. Ooh, it's tempting to try but I'm not going to do it. I've taken a lot of losses here. 6, 7, 8, 9 to 4 plus 1 is 5. So 9 to 5, 6, right? No, 5. 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5. Little Dolly Parton. All right, here we go. 5 and 8. So 8 for them gives them 13. 5 for us gives us 14. We squeak out the win. Eliminate this guy and take Velton. Oh, Felton. Should be pronounced Felton. It's a V. Okay. Now we'll do this guy here. Now, this is a pretty powerful punch here because we have 2 8s that we could move one. The Panther, for them, add +1 to German defense value this round only. So they get a +1 bonus for the Panther, plus that's going to give them a 6. We have 8, possibly +3, which would be 11. If I take one of or both of these out of here and just go with a 9 and move these guys down here. This is risky, but I'm going to take a shot at it. So we've got 9 to 6. 9 to 6. And we rolled a 4 and they rolled a 7. So their 7 gives them a 13. Our 4, we started on 11, right? No, we started on 9. 9 plus 4 is also 13. So we get another Bloody Streets. And I'm out of Bloody Street markers. So we got to hope that this one and this one do not turn out to be Bloody Streets as well. All right, so let's try this guy now. So we have 9 taking on, oh, good, a Volkssturm 3 plus 2 is 5. So this one should be okay. 9 to 5 again. What a way to make a living. 10 to 8. So our 10 gives us 19. Their 8 gives them 13. That is a difference of 6. That is a 4. So this would again be, oh, wait. Yeah, we were doing, what were we doing? I forget now. We had a 9, right? We were doing this one. So that's a 3. This one is actually an overrun. So this goes here. These guys stay active, and I can move them again and maybe try and take this forest area. Tegel there. Let's do it. Why not, right? This remains Soviet controlled. The rule is any area that does not have a German marker on it is automatically Soviet controlled. So this is now Soviet controlled. We took it. Now let's see what we get here. We're going to do the same thing. We have a 9. They get a +2 for the forest and an 8. And the dreaded ambush rears its ugly head once again. So we're going to lose that tank. That's why you don't want to press your luck maybe sometimes. All right, so they get 8 plus 2 is 10. And we have 9. So they're already up on us, and they're going to kill our tank as well. We got an 8. They got a 6. So we do win by 1. So, no, we lose. We got repulsed. So he goes back here. He goes here. And that stays there. And we lose another point from Stalin. They also lost a point when they lost this, so I should move that down as well to 48. And we have our last one here. So this one is, I'm not gonna push anything else here. 7 plus 3 is 10 to 4. This is suburban, so they get a +1. So their defense value is a 5. Our attack value is 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 to 5. All right. They got a 6. We got a 7, so we win. And we won by enough for it to be an overrun. But, again, we're in a zone, not eligible. Flip these guys, and that is going to be the end of turn 1. So, not a great turn, but we now have to go to our end phase and talk about how that works. Okay, so the one thing we have to do when we start an end turn is we reduce our style and approval by 1 and German morale by 1. So you have kind of a countdown clock in terms of the style and approval. The German morale dropping obviously plays to our benefit. If we can get it low enough, they'll become shaken. That point is at 19. So other than that, we're going to be flipping the units, our spent units, back over to available, and we'll start turn 2. I already moved the marker. Then we'll just repeat the process of looking for a random event. Then we will go through the supply phase, the combat phase, and the end phase again. And you do that over and over until hopefully you capture the Chancellery and the Reichstag and win the game. But for now, I am going to stop. So I am willing for sure to do another video, and I probably will. But if you're interested in seeing it, let me know, just to kind of give me a little encouragement, perhaps, because I'm going to play more. I'll probably play out the whole game. I don't know that I'll do it all for video because, honestly, there are some of you that would watch all of them, but there are many, many others who won't. And after a while, it becomes a situation where it's a bunch of diminishing returns, essentially. But anyway, we are going to be done for now. I will be back, like I said, almost certainly with turn 2, perhaps more. But yeah, give me some feedback. Put something in the old comment section and let me know whether you're interested in seeing more. That's going to do it for now. In addition to leaving a comment, I'd appreciate it if you might consider liking, sharing, hyping, or perhaps even going so far as to subscribe to the channel. That would be fantastic. Other than that, thanks for watching. Hope you come back and check out something else down the road. Big old shout out to my channel members. Appreciate the support. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Appreciate the support. Thank you very much. As far as anything else goes, we are done for now. Thank you to my subscribers as well. Just wanted to give them a quick thanks as well. But that is it for now. Until next time, I'm Joe. This is Hexed Encountered. And as always, happy gaming.